welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is all about how to make a boxed out cushion, and I am making a boxed out cushion for this chair that my husband made. In order to make this boxed out cushion, I'm going to be using this outdoor fabric. It's UV protected, and also it is obviously going to be waterproof because it is an outdoor fabric. First things first, we have to take our measurements for our boxed out cushion. So right here you will see that I am just going to be taking the width of this chair that I am making this boxed out cushion for. And what I did was I made it an extra inch more than what I needed to cover me for my seam allowances. And then I am going to do how tall it is, and I just did another 1 inch extra of allowance for the seams. And today you will see that I actually have my helper friend, who is Sophia, my little kitten. This fabric isn't a new piece of fabric that I own. I actually made an outdoor rug with it and I don't particularly like it, so I am going to cut this rug up. So you will see that I am going to start cutting this because it has a lining as well as the front. So I want to get at the top section of this outdoor lining. Now what I'm going to do is to start doing the measurements. Now you'll see later on that I clued in that I should have turned the fabric around so I could actually do my markings and be able to see them. So I started to measure what I needed and I measured it out to be the 20 inches, but I also added that 1 extra inch on. And then I think it was 14 inches the other way. And here's my little helper. Sophia's probably telling me, "Mum, turn the fabric around and you'll probably be able to see your markings, Mum." Mum, I'm sure it'd be easier the other way round. Bless her. Now it's time for me to cut what I've just drawn out. So here you'll see me cutting it out, and little Sophia, look at her head. She is just watching me as I'm cutting. So I cut down that one section, I go around the other side, and I cut down that way too. So rather than actually trying to measure it out once again, you just take that section there, that'll be the top section of my cushion, and put them right sides together, use that as your pattern piece, and just cut around it. It's going to save you a little bit of extra time. So I'm going to cut all the way around here. I didn't bother to pin, I just laid it flat down, and I'm just going to cut the other side. It's so much quicker doing it this way rather than trying to re-measure everything. Just put one on top of the other. In order to create a boxed out cushion, you require some depth on your cushion. So here I remembered I didn't measure this part, so I'm just putting my tape measure up against, and I am measuring out at 4 inches, a 4-inch depth of boxed out cushion. Now I am just going to line up the top section with another piece. So rather than having to measure out the lengthways, I have that piece already done. So I'm just going to take 4 inches from the top of my new piece that I'm measuring, and I'm going to measure, and I've actually flipped over the fabric, as you can see, so I can now see the markings on my cushion rather than doing it on the pretty sides out. So make sure you turn your fabric around if you do have a pattern, and this is going to help measuring things a lot more easier and simpler. And what you're going to see me doing now is cutting this section piece out. So I'm just going to cut along this piece. Snip, snip, snip. So this is going to create the boxed out section of my boxed cushion. And then what I'm going to do is use that strip on top of the other strip for my new pattern piece and cut that up too. And here is the shorter side pieces of the boxed out cushion. And I'm just going to put my panel up against it, so I'm only measuring that one side. I'm going to take my ruler out and I'm going to measure at the 4-inch mark. And you can see I'm starting to get a bit, my brain's starting to work a bit better. Now I'm starting to like mark it all out lengthwise instead of just doing a little marking. And I just traced in some of the missing sections there. So I'm all ready to cut out the sections again. You are going to have two sections, a top and a bottom, two sides and some smaller sides. That's if you've done a rectangle like me. If you've done a square, they're all going to be the same around each piece. So we have two long sides, two short sides. Going to move the two short sides out of the way, and I'm left with the two long sections. Going to take one of them away, and I am going to cut this one in half. So I do fold it over at first, and then I realise that I can just line it up on my mat with the 4-inch boxes, and I am going to cut it at 2 inches in width. And it was moving about on me, it wasn't playing nicely. It's a fairly light fabric that I kept on catching and moving. So here is me just cutting that section at 2 inches width by the 20 inches in length for my particular boxed out cushion. And here we go, we're going to add a zipper onto this cushion just so we can get in and out easily. And for this video I'll be using my Babylock Soprano sewing machine and my Babylock Enlightened serger. My serger is going to help things move along much quickly. At this point I'm going to get my zipper foot out and I'm going to attach that onto me Babylock Soprano sewing machine. Whenever you add a zipper you want to place on your zipper foot, it makes things easy. So the pieces that I just cut, I just took one of them sections and I'm going to serge down one side. So when I place this section onto my zipper, that means I'm going to have the raw edges all encased. So it's going to look a lot more professional once it's completed. What I am pointing to is the knife on the serger, and a good thing about the sergers is it cuts the fabric as it is serging. So I am just pointing this knife to show you guys what a serger actually does. It makes things so much quicker and easy to do. This is what that serged edge looks like. It stops your fabric from fraying. Now we are back at the sewing machine and I am going to sew down that zipper. And now that I have them raw edges all serged, it's going to look so much better once that zipper is sewed into place. And take it as fast or as slowly as you want to go. You are attaching a zipper, so you just want to be careful there. And we're going to sew all the way to the end, attaching the fabric to the zipper. And this is what it is going to look like. So we are going to have to attach the next piece onto the other side where the serged ends are. So you're going to line the right side up with the left side so they are parallel to each other. Here we go, we've got everything all parallel and ready to go. So now we're going to take that section back to our sewing machine and just making sure, like, if you haven't pinned anything like me, I generally don't pin this sort of thing, I'll just hold it into place. But if you're a pinner, go ahead and pin your zipper onto the fabric, and then just make sure that everything is all parallel and start sewing all the way down the zipper. And I'm just stopping and starting here because I just want to make sure that the two ends are meeting, so the end of the zipper tape and the end of my fabric are all getting sewn down. As you will see, things aren't lying flat, so we're just going to do a top stitch to keep everything down and in place. So let's go back to the sewing machine, do that top stitch, and you'll notice in a second that everything will lie much flatter. So if you have this problem in the past, just remember to do the top stitching around the zipper, and it will lie much flatter, because we don't want our fabric getting cut up in our zipper at a later date. This just helps to keep both the fabric sections to lie flat and out of the way. And this is what it looks like. As you can tell, I have not pressed it. This is literally just top stitching. Once I sewed everybody's in place, I noticed that it wasn't completely parallel, so I moved the zipper back, and I am going to cut off this section here. Now, to stop my tape from moving about, I put some packing tape on the zipper to keep it in place. Now with that zipper moved back, you don't want to do this when you haven't moved your zipper back. That would not be a good day. And now I can chop the ends off the zipper tape that were overhanging. Just make sure that you move that zipper back so you don't chop it off with the ends. Now let's get sewing our boxed out cushion. I'm going to get the zipper end and I am going to put it onto my main cushion part. And I happen to notice I still had some overhang on the main parts that I'll deal with later. So I'm just going to wonder clip these two sections together so they don't move on me. I'm going to head back over to my serger and I'm going to serge this into place. So I'm just getting both my sections together. I obviously can't sew over my wonder clips. I just have to stop to remove them. And just to make sure that everything was lined up and out of the way, this serging is going to make my boxed out cushion look so professional and so well finished. This is the first part done. Now we obviously need to get our other three sections sewn onto our boxed out cushion. So I am going to go ahead and get ready for the next part. I went directly to the opposite side of the boxed out cushion, got these two sections into place once again with my wonder clips, because this will move if I don't. And now I go back to my serger and I'm going to serge these ends into place. I'm just going to go all the way down, and as you'll see, this is really quite quick doing this on my serger. I'm going to stop and take them wonder clips out, make sure everything's out of my way. As I pointed out before, I have these overhangs and now it's time to cut them off. I'm going to take them over to my rotary cutter and deal with that. So I am going to get the next section and we are going to sew that into place. And you do want to leave about 1/4 of an inch space right in between the two sections, right where I'm pointing. Right there, you want to leave 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just showing you that I sewed way too much here. So I'm just pulling a little bit of it away so I can leave that 1/4 of an inch distance for when I sew that other portion into place later. Now I'm taking everybody back to the serger, and this is where you're going to want to totally make sure that everything is out of your way and you're not catching anything underneath your serger as it's going through, and making sure that you're getting both of the seams into place. Move that other section out of the way, the part that's going to go up. So I'm just reiterating again, this is that 1/4 of an inch you want to save on that other side. You're going to get a load of fabric all bunching up against each other in a second for when you start to create them boxed corners. This is what we left that 1/4 of an inch space gap for. Now what you're going to do is get them both right sides together, and there's going to be a 1/4 of an inch space for you to sew everybody into place. Now you want to make sure you get everybody sewn up so you don't have a little hole. So make sure that you sew everything all into place, including that 1/4 of an inch space that we left. So I took everybody over to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew this boxed corner into place. I am not going to start right at the top because I still need to leave a 1/4 of an inch at the top, but I'm going to make sure that I sew that 1/4 of an inch down, and I'm going to create this boxed out corner for my boxed out cushion. And then I just did a quick back stitch there, and I'm just going to show you what this boxed out corner looks like. How great is that? See how I've left a 1/4 of an inch at the top for the next stage? At this point, you really need to make sure that you open that zipper up, because if you sew the next part down, the zipper is closed, it's going to be bad. I wanted to add ties to my boxed out cushion, so I just did some ribbon and I've cut some out. I'm going to add these ribbons to the corner of my boxed out cushion, and I will cut them ties just a little bit later. Just to reiterate, you want to make sure that you have your zipper open at this stage. And now I am going to put the bottom or the top side of the cushion on into place. And I started at the corners and gripped them into place, and then I went back and started gripping everybody else into place with my wonder clips. Now I'm going to take my boxed out cushion over to my serger and serge that into place. And once again, you need to really remember to move everybody out of the way. You don't want to be catching anybody, because this serger is going to cut any fabric it goes near. So you want to make sure that nothing is in your way and just serge everybody down. You're going to do all 4 sections because you have that zipper to turn everybody right sides out. And here she is, all complete and ready to go. I'm going to pull my zipper back and I am going to turn my boxed out cushion right sides out. And then I will start to push all of the corners and make sure that everybody looks nice and tidy. I didn't have a pillow in order to put this in because it's a bit of an obscure size, so I had to raid some of my scrap fabrics. I found some minky fabric and found some other things, and I just stuffed my boxed out cushion with all of these remnants. And because there is that added value of having that zipper, then I can take things out. I can wash the cushion because this is a cat cushion, and you know, I may need to wash it from time to time even though it is an outdoor fabric. So I'm just stuffing all of my scraps into place and getting this cushion ready to be of service. So I'm going to place my boxed out cushion into the chair, and as you can see, little Miss Sophia is ready and waiting. I'm just going to tie the ties on the back of the chair and it's looking perfect. It looks absolutely amazing and I am so overjoyed with it. Let me know in them comments down below if you feel like you would attempt to do a boxed out cushion now that you've seen this video. And yes, I have a cat model the chair. If you just stick around just a little bit longer, you'll see the Casio that my husband made for our fur children. And I would like to say thank you so much again, you guys, for watching me. Hit that like. That really helps my channel when you do that. And also a comment goes a long way. I so appreciate when you guys comment. I very much appreciate it. And Sophie appreciates this by the looks on things. And here it is. Here's the Casio my husband made. Wonderful job he did. And here we go. Here's the chair in its pride of place. Thank you once again. Bye guys.